All right, guys, now we're going to talk about the 7 schools of psychology. The 7 schools are biopsychological or neuroscience, behavioral, cognitive, humanist, psychoanalytical, social, cultural, and evolutionary. All right, so the first school of psychology is the biopsychological or neuroscience perspective. And in this school here, we're talking that all of our feelings and all of our behaviors have an organic root, meaning everything is physiological. It has to do with something inside of the body. So it might come from the brain, it might come from body chemistry, neurotransmitters, or things like that. Moving on to behavioral perspective. Under this perspective here, we touched a little bit on it during the different perspectives or the different waves of psychology. So the behavioral perspective focuses on observable behaviors. It's scientific. You're able to observe it. You can see the change. You can see what's making you act a certain way, and it's going to put all the feelings aside. So once again, who cares how you feel? It doesn't matter how you feel. What matters is how you act. So we behave in certain ways because we have been conditioned to do so. So that means we have learned to act this way over time. Now, in order to change certain behaviors, people in this perspective or in this school of thought, they're going to believe that you have to be reconditioned or to relearn a behavior. And once again, B.F. Skinner, he's going to be one of the forerunners here under this perspective. All right, moving on to cognitive school of psychology. Under this perspective, we're focusing on how we think or how we encode information. How do you see the world? Why do you see it that way? We learn to act to sad or happy events. How do we learn to act certain ways? It's all up here. So a cognitive therapist, they're going to attempt to change the way that you think. So over here we have an example. You meet a girl. Hopes are high, but she rejects you, and you don't even get a phone number. Now, how are you going to react to the rejection? Some people, they're going to learn to get back on the horse and try again. Others, they're going to live a life of solitude. They're going to crawl up in a ball, go put some black makeup on. They're going to get really sad and become emo and all that other stuff. All right, the next school of thought here is the humanist perspective or humanistic psychology. Now, this is going to peak in the late 60s and during the 70s, during the hippie movements. So it's going to focus on spirituality. It's going to focus on free will. Yeah, man. No, man, don't step on the flower, the dandelion. It's talking to me, man. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. So we have to strive to be the best person that we can be through self-actualization. We have to have understanding of what we need, and the end result, the end goal, is to reach self-actualization. Now we're going to learn a lot about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and at the top of his hierarchy, at the top of his pyramid, it's going to be self-actualization. Now, under this school of thought here, happiness is defined by the distance between our self-concept and our ideal self. So what you think you are compared to what others actually see you are. All right, next we have the psychoanalytical perspective. So anytime you see psychoanalytical, psychodynamic, immediately think of Sigmund Freud or Sigmund Freud once again, and we're focusing on the unconscious mind. We might try to repress or use a defense mechanism to bury our true feelings, and that's an example of a defense mechanism. We're not aware of it. So in order to be better, we have to bring forward our true feelings that we have hidden in our unconscious. So here we have a man, if he's having intimacy issues and cannot form relationships with others, why do you think he would be acting this way? Why do you think he's this way? If we were to use the thought perspective of a psychoanalytical psychologist, they might say that the reason that a person's acting like this is because maybe they were bullied as a kid and they have a fear to get close to other people. We have the social cultural perspective. This is the hand in that handout that I gave you. This is the palm here. under this perspective here, it says that much of your behavior and your feelings are dictated by the culture that you live in. So I grew up in well, I grew up around a lot of Filipinos, and I that was the culture I was brought up in. Now, some cultures, for instance, they kiss each other whenever they greet, or some just bow. No, no, we didn't do that stuff. But that's an example of some of the culture, or some of the things that shape us into the people that we are today. Now, here's a question just to think about, a question to ponder upon. Does your culture place value on the individual or on the group? And finally, our last perspective here, or our last school of thought, our last school of psychology, is the evolutionary perspective. So, anytime we're talking about evolution, evolutionary, you should think of Charles Darwin. Once again, this school of thought here is going to focus on Darwinism, survival of the fittest. We behave the way we do because it's inherited. Our parents did this, their grandparents did this, their parents did this. It's been passed down through the generations. So it's something that's inherited. So the behaviors that we have, it's because those behaviors have helped ensure our ancestors' survival. So survival of the fittest. What has worked in the past has been passed down.